you doing? How are you today? Welcome to the podcast live. This is his
And we are
first development
live.
podcast.
Inspiration
Are we?
Nation, hello. Lee Kemp here for another week on the podcast. Sadly, without Ryan Boniface, but here with Jose, the Battler Noya. How are you doing?
The Battler Noya. This sounds like a wrestling name.
Stepping into my territory there.
I
Jose
love
is
that.
stepping into the world of TikTok battles. Currently, he's got an 80% success rate, so that's great. If you want to see what happens there, Jose Noya, Inspiration Nation, stick it in your Google machine, follow on TikTok. You can also follow on YouTube. If you follow, like, subscribe, whatever the right buttons are, you'll get told when we're going live each and every week, and you can get involved like I'm sure many, many people will do today. Right, Jose, it is your turn for a subject. So,
Yep,
what have
and
you
I've got it
got?
here. I've got it here. Thank you, Inny, for liking live. I've got it here. So it's one from James Clear, and I just want to read it out. It's quite a lengthy one. So here we go.
That's what you tell them anyway.
I'm not saying anything apart from reading what
That's it.
I'm reading. Let's go. You're
Keep on
putting me off.
playing.
Here we go. So, James Clear, here we go. Someone will start with more money than you. Someone will get into a better school. Someone will inherit connections you need to build from scratch. Someone will get picked before you. In other words, you'll have no problem finding people with a head start. That's not the point. The point is, when you get your opportunity, make the most of it. That is my quote from James Clear, Atomic Habits. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts were initially off the back of that.
You always
Would
just
you like me to read
pass it over. No, it's good. I got the quote. You're good. It wasn't as
Okay.
lengthy as you said it would be, which I've got a feeling is not the first time you've been told that.
I'm just not going to say anything.
Sit,
I love,
blank it all.
you made me laugh. You made me blush.
That's what I'm here for. I bring the lols. So, I think that's a good reassurance quote. Is that the right thing? Because it's, and I put a slightly different twist on it. And I don't know why. I was thinking this earlier I think it's something I saw on a TV show and someone mentioned it and it stuck in my head. But it's that comparison thing. It's so easy to look at where you are at, say, 20 or 25 or 30 or 40 or 50, all the way on. I'll give you all the numbers and look at where other people are and be like, oh, I'm not doing as well as they are. But it's all, there's something you talked about a while ago. I'm going to mix all our subjects together. That like Japanese philosophy thing about everything's temporary. I think it's linked to like fixing stuff with gold and all that. And I really love that concept because, yes, right now at this moment in time, someone you can draw a parallel with, be it age or, I was going to say you went to school together, so it'd still be age or geography or in the family or whatever it is, wherever you can draw a comparison and be like, oh, I'm not doing as well as they are. But it is all temporary. They might be flying because of X, Y, Z, whatever it is, but that might peter. You never want it to do bad for people. That might peter off, or your thing might pick up. Or in reality, you shouldn't be comparing anyway, because it doesn't matter where people are on the journey. But if you've got goals and you see someone else who's achieving those goals and you're not, it can be disheartening. But we're all on different journeys. You all get there at different paces. You all start from different places, and it's really easy to fall into that trap, I think, of, oh, well, someone else has it, or it's easy for them, or that will never happen for me. But,
Yeah.
and you've talked about this a lot, is we're all on our own journey, we're all at our own different paces. And I will ask you to say it again, but this is to do with what made me think about it is it's easy to be like, oh, well, it's not, they had XYZ that gave them a leg up. They went to this school. They had this tutoring. They had money behind them. Their parents helped them get this. They won this and it gave them whatever it is. It's really easy to put excuses of someone else doing better, whatever that looks like, or you not being where you want to be and making excuses because of other people's advantages. But it's all, again, it's the journey thing. I'm kind of rambling in a circle. It's all what you put into it, where you do. I'd say, and I was talking to someone the other day, actually, and everyone loves to romanticize and go, oh, I came from nothing. I didn't come from nothing. My upbringing was great. My parents are great. But I had no financial aid. It was all on me. I went to a perfectly regular school. The more I look back at it and I see what the kids do now, maybe I went to a slightly less than regular school, but I went to a school, got my exams, went and got a job, put a lot of effort into career, etc., etc., and have built myself to a really, really good position. But none of that comes from an advantageous start. It just comes from hard work and really digging into my own journey and just focusing on what I'm doing and what I want to do and moving through that. And that, all those sort of things are what jumped into my head in a very rambly way when you threw out the quote. What are your thoughts, Jose, on the quote or any of that soup of words that I just threw out at you?
Well, as you were talking, I really like the fact that you referenced the excuse part, because I'm sure, I know I did that back when I was younger, that, oh, look at them, they've whatever, they've got a better, don't know, better pair of football boots or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh wow! And actually, I copied it. Like they'd have, and I'll try and get them to sort of have that sort of alignment. So I think that's really good, and I think that can stop us from stepping in. I think I've made those excuses. I've said, "Oh, well, it's all right for them because they've got more money. It's all right for, like that's they've got, because they have got an advantage, but you can use that as an excuse not to dive into what you want to do, and it stops you diving into what you want to do, which is where it takes away your power, because you're giving away your power rather than owning it and say, yeah, I don't have it, but what am I going to do with what I have? And I never had that. This is why coaching is so powerful for me, because it trains you to work with what you have. And I really like your journey, Lee, because your journey has actually been faced with a lot of adversity. I mean, you talked about on the podcast your debt, getting back from debt. There's lots of stuff that you've done, leaving school, going straight into a career, starting from the bottom, right? And working your way up. That all takes guts. That all takes hard work. That all takes effort. I remember you working lots of long hours at the office. You worked hard and you applied yourself, and you would take on extra responsibility without even realizing, oh, I'll do that. I'll take that. Oh, let me look after that. I know definitely when we were in a team together, you definitely did that, and you took on so much, and that's what gave you those skills, those abilities, and that's what I've noticed about you. So I really like that, and this is what I think is powerful. With the podcast as well. No excuse were made. How do we start it? Well, yes, there are other people that got lots of money to start a podcast or got the knowledge. You just went, tell you what do? What do I do? And you just went off and started to build it, because I did the videos. So I was doing the videos. Podcast, and we'll build it. So you can use this podcast as an example as well of getting the things done. That's what I love. That's what I loved about that excuse part that you said. I think it's really important, because we do make excuses. Now, I'm not saying the excuses aren't real to you. I'm not saying they're not valid, because some of them are pretty valid. What I'm saying, what are you going to do about it? Taking your power back. That's what I'm saying. Because we can all do it. We can all sit there and go, oh, well, like for tennis, they're a better tennis player. Yeah, well, because they put in the work, whatever, they've been playing longer. So what? What work are you going to put in to start to get better? That's what matters. So I love that. Second part of this is that part where you said about the pots and the broken pots with the gold, and it came to mind. It's about it just puts itself back together. If something fails, it breaks on the floor. They put it back together, seals it with gold. That's wabu sabi. I think it's wabu sabi, wasn't it? Remember?
Yes.
It came to. It's so funny. You were saying it, and I was thinking, what is the word? And suddenly it popped into my head. So.
And that's it. And I don't. And now you said it, because I couldn't remember the name, but the concept really stuck with me.
Yeah, it's powerful though, isn't it? Because if you,
absolutely,
because you can feel broken sometimes. I mean, you've had those moments. I've definitely had those moments. You've had them. I've had them. Well, mental health, that I felt very broken. You put yourself back together. But the goal is this: we're still here. We're still fighting. We're still going. We still want to stretch. We still want to be better. So I love that. And Ryan, going back to Ryan, I'm bringing Ryan in here as well now, because he had that famous quote, didn't he? By, I think, one of his first episodes, where he said, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, he did.
I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt said that, but I love that. And so that, again, is really cool. And I just want to point out, Lee, I keep getting invites to do a TikTok battle.
Oh, they want you, Jose.
And I don't know if we've got enough people on to do a TikTok battle. But it's funny, we could do a TikTok battle. What do podcast and people could be doing it. Anyway, I won't do that.
Lastly, Can I just
Yes,
interject with a funny story, and we'll go to your last
of
point?
course you
So
can.
this
Yeah,
is a
absolutely. Yeah, of course
podcast deep cut. You just reminded me, it's saying about one of Ryan's first quotes. One of Ryan's other quotes, the T-shirt is still available at inspirationnation.org.uk, is where he was talking about reward. And he said, reward yourself with a grape, which I did make fun of him at the time because I think that's the most terrible reward you could ever give to yourself. And we've had lots of laugh with that quote before. So we were
Yeah.
together the other day in a work environment, and there was a lunch, and there was a packet of grapes on the table. And it was on the break, and Ryan was sitting there, and he was chatting to some people. And I just casually walked over to him, put the box of grapes out in
No,
front of him, gave him a little nod, and walked off again,
I love that. That's so
which
cool.
he
That's so funny.
appreciated.
I love it. What did he do? How did he
It was
react to
just,
that?
it was just
What
like
did he do?
very good, very good.
I love that. But it's really good. But that so shows you, and I think this podcast has all brought us all together, isn't it, in a way. And I think things like that are just so funny and so good. But yeah, I agree, and I love that. I love that you use that right in real life as a context. And when you just like I said, I'm just going to look at his face and be brilliant. Um, and yeah, the last point I was going to make,
Yes.
Lee, was adversity, and it's how we lean into that because it's always going to be difficult. And I was explaining this. I'm coaching an author. I was coaching an author weekend. I've got a person I coach, and we were talking about that. I was talking about nothing great comes easy because if it did, we wouldn't value it. Because if you just said, Lee, and I said, right, we just want to have an amazing podcast. We want to get 10 million viewers. And that happened like in a month, and we got to 10 million viewers or whatever. If it was easy, just wouldn't value it, and everybody would be doing it, so it wouldn't be valuable. This is why it's hard, and that's why nature teaches us that anything decent, worthwhile, we have to go through suffering to value it. If you see a lot of people when they get given things like lottery winners, they talk about, don't know, I don't know what the stats are. People, I haven't looked at them myself, but I've heard on whether other podcasts or whatever. But when they tend to lose their money because they've been given it, and because they don't. I'm not saying don't value it, but they don't really earn.
Yeah.
They've been lucky, right? They don't really know what to do with it other than spend it and do with it because they didn't go and earn it. So it's almost like I've been given it, now I'm going to do with it. It's like how you value something you earn is really powerful. Like I mean, like my child sold stuff to get a Nintendo. What's that Nintendo? The one with the screen. I can't remember what it's called now. It's gone. Not Nintendo DS, but the
The
later one.
Switch.
The Switch. That's the one. Beautiful. Yeah. Sold some stuff to get it. Really values that Switch. That's what I think about, and I think this is why I love this. Oh, Eagle, welcome to the house. Thank you, Eagles, we're in the house. So that's what I was going to say about this. And this last bit here, as you say, when you get your opportunity to take it, preparation. I think you were talking about this in a clip I had of yours. Preparing is key. I think it was in the latest clip. I think I actually sent you a clip of the clip I posted this morning. It was a clip of you 2 years ago
Oh my
talking about doing
God,
your
Joe.
biography. 50%.
It was great, but
50%.
I rambled on for ages on that. I got bored of myself in that clip.
50. No, but you come up. I said, "Have you done this? Your 50% luck
Oh,
autobiography."
yes. And I've not done it
That's
yet.
what I loved about that.
It was good. I mean,
Go on.
hopefully I'm more concise now, but I went on a little bit back then. That's my self-reflection and criticism on myself. So sorry to anyone who watched that quote because I rambled on. But yeah, it is that 50% luck thing. I was thinking as well, this again, random thought that comes in every so often, but there's definitely a point in my life where I'd think if someone could just gift me X amount of money, and it wasn't a huge sum of money, but in my head, that's enough to sort out debts at the time and deposit in the house, whatever it would have been. I'm like, if someone could just give me that, that's it. I'm back on track. Everything's great.
Mm.
But now looking back, that wouldn't have helped me it would have helped me in the short term, but my entire journey wouldn't have been any different because, like you said with the lottery thing, my behaviour, the reason I was where I was because of my behaviours, and my behaviours would not have changed if someone just gifted me out of that. I had to go through what I went through to get the long-term behavioural change to make things better. So you're absolutely right, not just on the appreciating bit, because there is, if you earn something, it's completely different than just being given it, and you do have that great appreciation. But I think there's a big behaviour thing in things as well, that earning it it's not the earning it, it's learning how you got there so you can replicate and you can repeat that and you can keep doing that again and making it better. And I think that's a huge part of it as well.
Yeah, there's a discipline there, isn't there, to have got yourself out of it, which generates those behaviours, and then you then use those to keep yourself on a good upward
That's
path. And
it. Yeah.
as you said, it's like if someone had given it to you, you would have maybe stayed the same behaviours and almost gone maybe did a backslide because I've just got out temporarily, but I've
And
not
that's it.
changed anything.
If it was some sort of
Yeah,
graph, there'd be a slight uptick, but then yeah, I'd go back, or like you said, maybe even go worse
perhaps.
because
Who? Yeah, who knows? He may not have done, but you more likely may have done because you
yeah,
didn't know.
that's my best
Yeah,
estimate.
it's difficult, isn't it? It's hard to go back and realise what would happen because we have to learn the lesson. If we don't learn the lesson, it just comes back and bites us on the arse again, doesn't it? And I think that's what you did. Same with me, my mental health. If I didn't make the changes, I had to make the changes because I was just suffering so much. And if I didn't make the changes, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in front of you, wouldn't be doing coaching or whatever. And I may not have been here if I hadn't decided to change the behaviours. I suppose the almost for me was like accepting that if we, the opportunity there in that mental health place was to start to change my behaviours and belief in myself. I think that was life going. No one's coming to save you, Jose. No one's coming to save you. So you need to start doing things. No one can work through this for you. No one can take that medication. So I had to get medication, get me in a good space. But that's the realization. No one's going to save me was the power I needed to, okay, it's on me. I need to start to do things. And those are the only things. And behavior change, absolutely rightly. Behavior change and earning it. So yeah, I love this. And I see it all the time. And this is why when I coach people, when people say, oh, it's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair. Life is absolutely not fair, but what are you going to do? What's the first step? And I think that for me is another one that I struggle with people because people sometimes are very reluctant to take that first step. That's the hardest step, is that first step of
Yeah.
change, small step. This is why I always say in my videos when I do my videos, thank you, Eagle, for that. I love that. Thank you so much for Eagle's like us live, by the way. Thank you so much. I always say in my videos, these videos are just not for watching. This podcast is just not for watching. Is what are you going to do after you've listened or watched? What's the very, very first step? Because it all starts with just that first step. That's the hardest one. Whether it's recording a video, that's your hardest step. Looking at yourself, watching yourself back, or maybe at least saving that first £50 or £10, whatever. And for me, owning it and going to the doctors and making a change. These are the small steps which make significant difference. And this is why I like this quote, going back to that. The excuses, be careful of them. Yes, they may be legitimate, but what are you absolutely going to do? And see what happens. See what happens. People come from adversity, worse big things. But yeah, go on, Lee. You can say.
No, it's good. And I like you saying about they may be legitimate because you can get genuine blockers to what you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's like you said,
Yeah.
and like you did and lived, is okay, but what are you going to do about that? How do you work? How do you mitigate it? How do you get rid of it? How do you work around it? How do you change course to something different if that's an absolute no-go, so you're still moving forward?
Yeah, that is exactly, and that's the thing. That's what we all struggle with. We're all human beings, and some people do. I mean, I don't really like change, although I know change is necessary. I'm a coach, and I advocate it, but I still find it challenging. But that's the point. Change is difficult, I think. But some people embrace it more than others. I think some people say, I love change, but I don't believe them sometimes because you sort of say, oh, I want to say is the right thing to say. But actually, it's bloody hard. And when you sort of talk about it, you think about it, and you see the behaviour, you see them say one thing and they do something else, which is really fascinating, coach. When you see that, I'm going to do this. And then you come back the following week and they haven't done it. You go, well, what happened? Something came in and, but that's the beauty of coaching. Okay, so what do you do with that? That's the beauty of it. You can say, well, okay, this is why you're not here because this has happened. So what do you want to do about it? If you win, celebrate. This is why coaching is so powerful. And yeah, this is why I love this subject. But yeah, I love that. Eagle, by the way, is absolutely crushing these lights, by the way. Thank you so much, Eagle. I appreciate
Love
you.
it.
Yeah. Anything else from you, Lee? Because I think I'm done. I think this is really good. I think I just want a call to action, I think, for the audience. I think that's what I was going to ask.
I love the what you, because this is, like we said, in fact, I'll close it for a little. Sorry, I was talking to my my other half, my beloved, to quote your words that you like to use, and talking about how long we're doing the podcast for, etc., etc. And she's like, so have you not run out of subjects to talk about yet? Which I think is quite a legit question with what we do in the field. And I kind of said, well, it's not even like that anymore. I said, it's more, we revisit the same topics with a completely different lens because our approach and our outlook to them keeps changing. I said, it's almost merged from being topics about change or growth or development or whatever into like our own little private development journal that people just happen to get to listen to. And I think that behaviour has really rooted in as to having this checkpoint with ourselves and being able to reflect so well, because we do it so much. And tying back to, like you said, your call to action is there's so much of this now we talk about, well, oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. And we put it into practice and we do it and we do it and we do it and we do it. And I think that's the key thing to, yeah, kind of push out to the audience is if you want to reach your goals, if you don't have any goals, you need to think out what they are. If you want to push to something different, if you're struggling through a hard time, whatever it is exactly that. It's like we're doing, what is that thing you're going to do that's those small little daily changes that starts to shape who you are and who you're going to be. I think you talked about this before. It's making that vote for yourself, isn't it? It's that conscious little step in the direction to who you want to be. And it all starts to snowball and it all builds momentum, but it all starts with that first step. So, yeah, just want to echo and add a bit of context to your call to action there, because I think it's a really strong message.
Yeah, that's the reason, Lee. The thing is, when I've coached so many people now over the years and so many coached loads of people think it's a massive, great, step change. Like, I've got to do this big thing. No. Just do the smallest thing, but do it every day.
Yes, absolutely.
Like with the book author. So it's really interesting because the author they want to have a best-selling novel. So and they said, right, okay, we've got to write it. I said, okay, what does your writing schedule look like each day? That's what I said, because now they've got days they can write. So they've sent me their schedule, and they have writing and meditation. So it's like a job. Right?
Yeah,
it's a job.
Absolutely.
Because it is your job, right?
Yeah.
You want to be a writer. You identify as a writer. Well, what does a writer do every day? They write. And how many hours they write? There are a lot of hours of writing because it's the skill, it's the practice. So if you're not achieving what you're achieving, I'm going to echo what you say, Lee. Look at your daily actions. Do they reflect about what you want to achieve in a year's time? If they don't, what do you need to change? What's the smallest thing you can change? So I think that's going to be, from my point of view, the call to action. What's the smallest thing you can change on a daily basis that leads to the big goal in a year, 5 years' time, whatever it is? What will it be? And when are you going to do it by? That's my last thought on that.
I love it. From a takeaway perspective, I don't know, because there's a lot here. Don't be afraid to change course. I think it's the excuses thing. Don't, they're there, but they're not. Nothing is fatal. There you go. I'll give you that. Nothing is fatal for my takeaway from today. And for your good self?
Yeah. For me, it's keep doing what's working. Don't note it. And whatever's not working, what do you need to change?
Love it.
That's mine.
Great.
And I need to adopt that. And I still need to adopt it. I still need to adopt it.
It's like, it's none of us, we can't follow all this stuff all the time, but we just keep reinforcing and keep trying to do better every single day.
100%. It's what this podcast's about, and it's we sharing what we share, and everybody out there's probably people out there going exactly similar to what we're going through, and you want to aim for somewhere. Well, if you aim for somewhere, you got to do stuff. You just can't wish it into existence. There's got to be steps and interactions with the world, and this is what steps do for you. So yeah, I love this, Lee. Nice
Absolutely one. Good stuff. Right, the likes have been pouring in on TikTok today. It's fantastic to see. Again, Jose Noya, Inspirational. Stick that name in your Google machine. TikTok and YouTube are the places to be. Of course, wherever you are listening to this, whether it's the day it comes out, a week after, a year after, another 5 years after, just subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review, tell friends and family. They're the things that really help us grow and get the message out there to everyone. And with that, I think I'll count us down and say we'll be back next week. 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
Inspiration Nation. There. I was going to say Inspiration Nation there. Let's start again. 3, 2, 1. Inspiration Nation.
Inspiration Nation. Catch you guys later. I think I led on that. That's I threw you, didn't I?
And the little running out of time thing just popped up on my screen.